How do I learn to read and write in Japanese? Should I watch anime to help me? I don't know how to make a sentence. And what is kanji? No, what really is kanji? Hi, my name is Maddie, and in today's video, I'm going to give you the ultimate plan on how to learn Japanese as a complete beginner. I have been studying Japanese for many years, both self-study and 2 years at a language school in Japan. I have formulated this video to serve as a simple but structured approach to help you get started on your own Japanese journey. Make sure you stay till the end for a special surprise. There are 5 parts in this approach, and I have made chapters that you can use to come back to or skip around and find what you need to know. So get out your pen and paper to take some notes, and without further ado, let's get started. Number 1. Learn the basics of Japanese writing systems. When you start learning Japanese, the number 1 thing you should do to make things easier for you later on is to learn the writing system. This way, you will be able to make flashcards easier and engage with real Japanese media faster. Trust me, it will really help you out in the long run. In Japanese, we have 3 writing systems: hiragana, katakana, and kanji. Now, you might be wondering, why in the world are there 3 writing systems? Actually, they each serve their own purpose. Hiragana is one of the 2 phonetic alphabets in Japanese. It is used for native Japanese words and grammar functions. Typically, young Japanese children can only read and write in hiragana because it's what they learn first. Katakana is the 2nd phonetic alphabet. They look different from hiragana but have the same sounds. For example, this is a in hiragana and this is a in katakana. They make the same sound, but they look quite different, don't they? So, you might be asking yourself, why do they need 2 alphabets that make the same sounds? It's kind of redundant, isn't it? Actually, no. Katakana serves a different purpose. It's used primarily for foreign loanwords. And it's also used for some names and sometimes when you want to emphasize something. Or sometimes just because some people might think it's cute or quirky. In this case, it's being used for its main purpose to spell out foreign loanwords. It says torein or train. When I was first learning kana, I printed out a photo I found on Google of a Lucky Star katakana chart and taped it above my bed. First mistake is trying to learn katakana first. Trust me, just learn hiragana first. I would stare at it every time I would pass by my bed, and I stupidly thought this would make me learn katakana. Because of my foolish ways, it probably took me around 5 months to learn kana. Don't be goofy. Don't be like Maddie. Both hiragana and katakana are used to spell out words, just like the English alphabet, and have no meaning attached to them. Hiragana and katakana have 46 characters respectively. To learn kana, I recommend using an app like Memrise. You can use Memrise for free and practice the kana as flashcards. To learn how to write, I would download a tracing sheet like this from Google. You can learn kana extremely fast, and I would recommend aiming to memorize them in around 1 week. If you're enjoying the video so far, please take a moment to leave a like. Finally, the dreaded kanji. Kanji originates from China and was adopted into Japan. Unlike hiragana and katakana, kanji each have their own meaning. Not only that, sometimes they carry multiple meanings. And on top of that, kanji usually have more than 1 way they can be read depending on the word it's in. For example, this kanji. It generally has 1 meaning, person. But this kanji has many ways it can be read. For example, if it's by itself like this, you can read it as 人. But if you combine it with this kanji, which is usually read as 他, like this, you now read this word as 他人. You might have noticed, when they were by themselves, they were pronounced differently, but when you put them together, the pronunciation completely changed. As a beginner, it is technically not 100% necessary that you learn kanji right away, although I do recommend that you start learning them as early as possible just because of the sheer amount of them. Did I mention that there are over 2,000 kanji? I will make a more detailed video about kanji later on. but for now, just start with kana and a few simple kanji. To learn some basic kanji, I would also recommend using Memrise. Once you are a little bit more familiar with kana and simple kanji, I would recommend using a book called Remembering the Kanji. This is the book I used to learn the majority of the kanji I know today. Using Remembering the Kanji, also known as RTK, together with the flashcard app Anki, is a really effective way to learn a large amount of kanji in a short amount of time. I will leave the link to RTK in the description box as well as the other resources I mentioned in this video. Once again, there is too much to mention about kanji that I cannot fit into this video, so I will make a detailed video about it later on. Make sure to be subscribed with the notification bell on so that you know when I upload it. Number 2, build a foundation in basic vocabulary and grammar. Now, obviously, to be able to speak Japanese, you need to know words. And a lot of them. A really important method to follow when learning new words, particularly verbs, adverbs, adjectives, and so on, is very important that you learn words within a sentence. This way, you learn how to use the word naturally in its proper context. For nouns like dog, cat, and so on, it's perfectly okay to learn the word by itself. I recommend using pre-made memorized decks that you can find for free. It's best to begin with a starter deck like this one. I also highly recommend using the textbook Tango, which I will leave the link for in the description box. This book is great because all of the word it lists also have the word being used in a sentence, so you can see the proper context. Also, the book comes with a red sheet so you can practice studying. Just place the red sheet over the page and it will hide the word. Remove the sheet to reveal the word, and it's a really good way to test yourself. This is a really popular study method in Japan, and you can often see middle schoolers and high schoolers on the train studying with this exact method. The book is also small enough that you can bring it out and about and study in your free time wherever you are. For basic grammar, I would say first and foremost, it's very important to understand sentence structure. Sentence structure is the order in which we place words to make a sentence. For example, in English, it's subject, verb, object. I eat apples. In Japanese, it is subject, object, verb. 私はリンゴを食べます. You might have noticed in this sentence, there are two particles. Particles are things we use to connect other words to each other. These are also very important to learn. I recommend using the free website Japanese Test for You. For a textbook, I would recommend the very popular Genki textbook. The link will be in the description box as well. As a beginner, the best way to find words and grammar that you should be studying is to use resources for the lowest JLPT level. For example, if I go to Memrise or JapaneseTestForYou.com, I would search for JLPT N5 grammar lists and make notes with those. Taking notes is really important. Remember kids, you can't learn by osmosis. Don't know how to take grammar notes? Leave me a comment, and if enough people ask, I will make a detailed video about how to take notes. Number 3. Practice listening and speaking. Input will be one of the most important phases in your Japanese learning journey. Input refers to consuming the language as opposed to using the language. Listening is a very important part of input because this will affect your accent when you start to output, also known as using the language. Listen to Japanese audio such as podcasts, songs, YouTubers, and anime. Try using resources such as Japanese Pod 101 or NHK Easy News. There are also a lot of YouTubers who post casual conversations in Japanese for beginners. As for output, practice speaking with native Japanese people. I highly recommend using the website Italki, especially if you are someone who is living outside of Japan and it's hard to find someone to practice with. I used Italki a lot when I was living in Canada, and I really love this platform because the teachers there are really good at keeping the conversation going because it's their literal job. Also, there are Japanese teachers who can also speak other languages like English, so they can help explain things to you in your native language if you don't understand. One of my main problems when I was starting to speak Japanese Japanese was that I was nervous about awkward situations where I wouldn't be able to communicate properly, but if you speak with a bilingual tutor, there won't be any awkward silences. Actually, I have a link in my description box for Otaku where if you purchase $10 to use on the website, they will gift you an extra $5. Be sure to check out the link to take advantage of this free money. Number 4. Practice reading. Now that you know how to read and write kana and a few basic kanji, it's time to start reading some easy material not only to grow your kanji knowledge, but also your vocabulary as well. When you have freshly learned kana and don't know any kanji yet, you can practice by reading children's books that are strictly kana. However, I would like to mention something. Reading kana by itself is grueling, to say the least. Without learning kanji, it will be extremely hard to understand anything. So once you've got the grasp of some basic kanji, you can now move on to manga like Shirokuma Cafe or Doraemon. These manga have furigana. Furigana is the hiragana spelling placed above kanji. Utilize books for children to practice your reading skills. Another fun way to practice reading, in my opinion, is to actually read Yahoo Answers. You can read a lot of crazy situations, and I find it really entertaining. It's almost like reading Japanese Reddit. Now, you may be saying, Maddie, that's way too advanced for me. How could I read all the kanji? And that's where this awesome and free resource comes in. You can download a Google extension called Rikaikun. Rikaikun is basically an extension for when you hover your mouse cursor over a Japanese word, it will not only give you the reading for that word, but also the English translation. If you guys don't know, I'm actually studying at a college in Japan, and all of my classes are in Japanese. So this extension has helped me so many times when reading difficult lesson materials. Number 5. Practice regularly and keep a schedule. Practice setting a schedule and studying Japanese daily. It's okay if you only have 10 to 15 minutes a day, but it's really important to stay consistent and review what you know so that you don't lose it. The more time you study per day, the better. But even if you only have a few minutes of downtime, make sure to make use of it. Consistency is key to language learning. Check out my 10-minute self-study routine in the iCard above. Set realistic goals. Set small, achievable goals to stay motivated. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Remember, learning a new language takes time and persistence. Enjoy the process and keep practicing. Now you have all the info you need to start learning Japanese. Did you stay till the end? It's time for the surprise. I finally decided to post myself speaking Japanese. So if you're curious to see where following these tips could take you, take a look at my video where I only speak Japanese. See you in the next one.